Welcome to our deep dive into the world of guided psilocybin experiences. You shared this fascinating manual with us. It's a detailed guide for facilitating these journeys using psilocybin truffles. And we'll be going through and exploring all the protocols and procedures outlined, really kind of looking at what they think makes for a safe and insightful experience for people going through these experiences.
Right.
We have an expert with us today who can really kind of help us understand the intricacies of all this. They have a wealth of knowledge about therapeutic practices and altered states of consciousness.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really interested in this manual because it doesn't just tell you what to do,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
It focuses heavily on the how, like
Yeah.
the steps involved in preparing for guiding and even integrating a psilocybin experience. They even delve into some really interesting things like setting intentions and creating a sacred space.
Yeah. It's quite fascinating.
So let's just jump right in. The manual starts with a client-customer journey overview and timelines section. Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So it outlines a very structured approach with a clear emphasis on safety and preparation.
Right.
Um, and what's fascinating is that they dedicate a significant amount of time to the pre-session phase. So this all begins with an initial call.
Okay. So what happens in that first call?
Well, it serves two main purposes.
Okay.
The first is managing expectations. They really want to make sure that potential clients understand that this isn't like a quick fix
Right.
or a guaranteed mystical experience.
Well, like this isn't a magic pill.
It's not a magic pill.
No, I'm going to come out the other end and suddenly all your problems are solved.
Exactly. It's work. And then the second purpose of that call is to do like a really rigorous screening process to check for any contraindications.
What kind of things would disqualify someone from participating?
They have a pretty detailed list, including severe mental health conditions,
Oh.
certain medications, or even what they call a last hope mindset.
Oh.
So they're really looking for red flags that might suggest that someone isn't in the right place mentally or emotionally to undergo this kind of experience.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It seems like they're taking safety very seriously.
absolutely. And they actually go beyond just physical or psychological contraindications.
Right.
They also want to make sure that, someone's motivations are aligned with the purpose of the experience.
Yeah.
They're not looking for people who just want to get high, right?
They're looking for people who
Yeah.
who have the right intention
Exactly.
and who want to actually use this as a tool for growth.
Precisely. And once someone is cleared to participate, the real preparation begins.
Okay.
And they outline a series of really in-depth preparation calls where clients work with guides to set intentions and learn practical tools for navigating the experience.
Why do they emphasize preparation so much? It seems like they're dedicating a really significant chunk of time to this.
Yeah, I do.
Why is that?
So think of it like this. They're not just like throwing someone into the deep end of a pool without teaching them how to swim.
Right. Yeah.
The preparation phase is really about building trust
Okay.
and building self-awareness and a sense of agency.
Yeah.
It helps participants develop like the skills and the mindset needed to navigate the often intense and sometimes challenging,
Yeah.
terrain of a psychedelic experience.
So they're not just taking them on this journey.
No.
They're actually equipping them with the tools to handle whatever might come up during the session.
Exactly. And this preparation even extends beyond the individual.
Oh, really?
So the manual also describes how guides prepare themselves.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Checking in with their own mental and emotional state before each session.
Okay.
They emphasize the importance of presence and groundedness for anyone holding space for someone else's, psychedelic journey.
I never thought about it that way, but it makes sense that
Yeah.
the guide's state of mind would also be super important.
Oh, absolutely. You wouldn't want someone, who's feeling stressed or distracted trying to guide you through this
right.
potentially challenging experience.
You want someone who's really there with you.
It's about creating a safe container, not just for the participant,
Yeah.
but also for the guide.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered the initial call
Yeah.
and these kind of preparation sessions.
Oh, yeah.
What happens next in this client journey?
Well, then comes the main event, the session day itself.
Okay.
And they have like a whole section dedicated to session day protocols, which outlines the steps involved in creating a safe and supportive environment for the experience.
Okay. Can you give us like a taste of what that looks like? What are some of the key elements that they highlight?
So they dedicate a lot of attention to creating what they call a sacred space,
Okay.
which involves carefully arranging the physical environment.
Okay.
So they recommend dimming the lights, using candles or incense, and having comfortable seating or a bed available. It's about like fostering a sense of reverence and intentionality.
So they're trying to create a space that feels safe,
Yeah,
but also conducive to introspection.
exactly. And they even encourage the use of energy clearing techniques to kind of cleanse the space and set a positive tone.
Interesting.
They even suggest specific music to accompany the journey, emphasizing selections that promote emotional exploration and a sense of expansiveness.
I'm really interested in the music. Do they go into any detail about how they choose it?
They certainly do.
What's their reasoning behind it?
They provide an example playlist that features a blend of ambient,
Okay.
electronic,
Okay.
and world music.
Mm.
So these are genres that are known to evoke like deep emotional responses and facilitate altered states of consciousness.
So the music is almost like a sonic landscape
Yeah.
that's designed to support their inner exploration without being
It's like extracting.
yeah, too distracting or too overstimulating.
Okay, interesting.
So they're very mindful of the participants' autonomy throughout the experience.
They really emphasize a non-directive approach,
Oh.
meaning they don't try to interpret or direct the experience in any particular way.
What does that look like in practice? How do they support the participant without influencing their journey?
So they act primarily as compassionate witnesses,
Okay.
offering gentle reassurance and support as needed, but mostly just allowing the experience to unfold organically.
Okay.
They might use techniques like breathing exercises or
Yeah.
grounding touch if someone is having a difficult time, but they never try to force any particular insights or interpretations.
That must be a tough balance to strike.
Yeah.
Like between providing support
Yes.
and respecting the individual's process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they don't disappear once the session is over.
Okay.
They emphasize the importance of integration.
Okay.
So the process of making sense of the experience and translating insights into lasting change.
Right. I mean, after such a profound experience, you would need some kind of guidance, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
To process it all and to integrate it into your everyday life?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What do these integration sessions look like?
Well, they typically involve a series of calls where the guide helps the participant to reflect on their experience,
Okay.
to unpack any themes or insights that emerged,
Okay.
and really explore how to apply those learnings to their life moving forward.
What kind of tools or practices do they recommend for this integration process?
Well, they highlight a few key practices. Journaling is a big one.
Okay.
They encourage participants to write down their experiences, even if it doesn't make complete sense at first.
Right.
It's about getting it all out on paper and creating a tangible record of the journey.
So they're really encouraging people to capture that essence of the experience before it fades.
Before it fades, exactly.
Right. Interesting. What else?
They also recommend connecting with supportive communities,
Oh, okay.
whether that's an integration circle, an online forum, or just simply, a trusted friend or therapist who can offer understanding and support.
Okay.
They recognize that these experiences can be, profound and sometimes overwhelming.
Right.
And it helps to have a network of people to process it with.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You don't have to navigate these things alone.
Yeah.
There's support out there.
Yeah.
What else do they emphasize in this integration phase?
Well, they also encourage participants to engage in practices that promote grounding and well-being,
Okay.
like spending time in nature,
Right.
eating nourishing foods,
Right.
and getting enough sleep.
Right. Taking care of yourself.
It's about nurturing the body and mind as they integrate these new perspectives and insights.
So they're taking a really holistic approach
Exactly.
to integration, addressing the physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects.
Precisely. And they don't shy away from addressing potential challenges either. They acknowledge that integration isn't always a smooth or linear process.
Right.
There might be, moments of confusion,
Of course.
resistance, or even emotional upheaval.
Right. It's a process
Yeah.
of growth and transformation.
Exactly.
And growth often comes with some discomfort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they provide guidance on how to navigate those challenges.
Okay.
Offering tools and techniques for staying grounded, staying connected,
Yeah.
and being compassionate with oneself throughout that integration process.
I'm really impressed with how comprehensive and thoughtful their approach is.
Yeah.
It seems like they're not just facilitating an experience,
No.
but they're really providing a roadmap
Yeah.
for a transformative journey.
Yes, and they're doing it with an emphasis on safety, responsibility, and individual empowerment, which is really important.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning of our deep dive, though. There's
Yeah.
still so much more to uncover in this manual.
For sure.
We'll be back in the next part to delve deeper into some of the specific techniques and practices that they outline.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to our deep dive. Last time we kind of walked through that client journey
Right.
from the first call through the prep and all the way to integration.
Exactly.
But now I kind of want to get into the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
What actually happens during a session.
Right.
The manual has this whole section called Session Day Protocols.
Right.
And it outlines everything in detail.
Yeah.
So what stood out to you about that section?
The level of detail is remarkable.
Okay.
It covers everything from the guide's mindset to how the physical space should be set up.
Okay.
They even suggest specific times for different parts of the session.
Okay, cool. So walk us through it. Like,
Yeah.
let's say I'm the client.
Okay.
What can I expect when I arrive?
Well, first off, the guides would meet beforehand to like review your information, discuss roles, and make sure that they're both, feeling grounded and present.
Okay.
They really want to make sure that, the experience is seamless and supportive.
So even before I get there,
Yeah.
they're already
Okay.
creating that container
Exactly.
of safety and clarity?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get there, then what?
So then when you arrive, there's time for kind of some casual conversation to help you settle in.
Okay.
And then they move into a more formal opening of the circle.
What does that mean? Like a ritual?
Yeah, it's about creating a sense of intention and connection.
Okay.
So they might, formally introduce themselves,
Okay.
review your intentions for the session, and answer any like last-minute questions you have.
Okay.
And they might also do some like grounding exercises or guided meditations to help you feel centered.
So they're really setting the stage
Yes.
for a safe and meaningful experience.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then around 1 p.m.,
Okay.
you would kind of begin your inward journey.
Okay.
So you typically lie down with eye shades on,
Okay.
and the music would start.
Ah, yes, the music.
Yeah.
You mentioned last time they have this example playlist.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what kind of music it is?
So it's a mix of ambient, electronic, and world music.
Okay.
So think of like soundscapes that evoke a sense of wonder and peace and like emotional depth.
Okay.
So the idea is to create a sonic environment that supports your inner exploration without being distracting or overly stimulating.
So the music is carefully chosen
Yes.
to kind of enhance the experience, but not dictate it.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So I'm lying there.
Yeah.
I've got my eye shades on. Music is playing.
Right.
What are the guides doing at that point?
So the guides are there with you.
Okay.
Not to kind of interpret what you're going through,
Right.
but simply to offer support and reassurance if needed.
So they're kind of like compassionate guardians
Precisely.
rather than therapists
Yeah.
during the session itself.
Yeah.
That's an interesting distinction.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
So, they might offer like a hand to hold or suggest a breathing exercise if you're feeling overwhelmed, but their primary role is just to create a safe
Okay.
and non-judgmental space
Right.
for whatever arises.
Okay, so then the psilocybin starts to wear off.
Right.
How do they guide you back to everyday consciousness?
So it's a gentle process.
Okay.
Around 5 or 6 p.m.,
Okay.
they might offer some like light conversation or snacks or grounding exercises to kind of help you reorient yourself.
Okay.
And then they typically close the circle around 7 p.m. with a sense of gratitude and shared reflection.
It's interesting how they weave in these rituals and this structure,
Yeah.
even though the experience itself can be
Right.
so
Unpredictable.
unpredictable and individual.
Yeah, it seems paradoxical.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense when you consider, the potential intensity of these experiences.
Right.
Having that framework
Right.
and knowing what to expect can create a sense of safety and stability, even amidst the unknown.
I like that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so then after the session,
Right.
you talk about how they're big on integration,
Yeah.
like making sense of the experience and
Right.
applying it to your life.
Yeah.
There's a whole section in the manual
Yeah.
called integration call protocols.
Exactly.
So what happens during those calls?
So they're essentially check-in points
Mm-hmm.
where you can kind of process what happened during the session.
Okay.
The guide will help you, unpack any insights or breakthroughs you might have had
Okay.
and, kind of explore how you can integrate those learnings into your everyday life.
So it's not just about
Mhm.
reflecting on the experience.
It's about figuring out what it means for you moving forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What kind of practical steps do they recommend? Like, do they give concrete examples?
Yeah, they offer a variety of suggestions.
Okay.
Journaling is a key one.
Okay.
So they encourage you to continue writing about your experience, even after the session.
Okay.
It can help to kind of process emotions, track your progress,
Okay.
and identify any recurring thoughts or feelings.
So they're encouraging you to kind of turn that psychedelic experience into a
Right.
continuous process
Exactly.
of self-discovery.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that. Okay, what else?
And they also highlight the importance of connecting with supportive communities.
Okay.
So people who understand what you're going through and can offer encouragement and guidance.
Right.
So they recommend, exploring integration circles,
Yeah.
online forums, or even just reaching out to a trusted friend or therapist.
Right. So it's that idea that
Yeah.
you don't have to go through this alone.
Exactly. You have a support system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What else?
And they also emphasize self-care practices. So, they encourage participants to eat nourishing foods, get enough sleep,
Right. Take care of yourself.
spend time in nature, and engage in activities that promote well-being.
Right. So again, it's that
Yeah.
holistic approach.
Holistic,
It's
exactly.
an integration.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And, they're very realistic about the fact that integration isn't always easy or straightforward.
Right.
There might be, ups and downs, moments of clarity and moments of confusion.